Hello and welcome everyone. In the previous tutorial, we understood how we can create our first model in Django. Moreover, we have also discussed how we can reflect changes in our database. Now, we will take a step further in this tutorial series and we will discuss about some of the basic data access methods that we can use in Django, and we will also understand the need of model string representation in Django. So we will start off this video by discussing some of the basic data access methods, and then we will understand the need of adding a string representation, and we will also discuss the steps of how we can add a string representation for our model. So without any further delay, let's jump to the topic. Basically, Django comes with a built-in high-level Python API that helps to interact with the models that we have created for our project. Now, to utilize this Python API, we need to first access the Django shell, and for this we need to execute a command. So let's discuss how we can access this Python API. Now what I will do, I will move to my command prompt from here. Now before we start discussing the steps, we have to make sure that our virtual environment has been activated in which we have installed Django, and then we have to make sure that we are in the same directory where this python manage.py file has been located. So if I show you here, you can see I'm in the same directory where my manage.py file is there. Now let me clear the screen. So how to access this Python API? For this we need to run this command, which is python manage.py shell. So this will basically open the Python shell for us. So here you can see it is showing interactive console. Once we have access to this Python API, we need to import the required model, and then we have to interact with the model as per the requirement. So what I will do, in the previous video tutorial, you have seen how we have created the profile model for our project. Now the profile model was located in our home application. So what I will do, I will import the profile class from that. So I will type from home.models import profile. So in this way we have imported the profile class. So profile class is basically the model for our application. Now once we have imported the profile class from the models.py file, we can utilize this Python class to create different instances for our model. So what I will do, let me create one instance, or we can say let me create one object for this profile class. So I will name this object as p1, then name of the model, which is profile. Now within the profile class, we have to specify different attributes. So the first attribute was first name. Let me specify it value as James. Then after first name, the next attribute was last name. Let me specify its value as Rogers. After this, let me specify another attribute, which was age. Let me specify its value as 27. Then there was contact. So contact was an integer type value. Let me specify a certain number for this. And in the last attribute was email. Let me specify any email. So abc@gmail.com. Now close the bracket for our profile class and hit enter. Now our pre1 object is been created. Now if I print this object, it has returned this as a profile object. Now what we can do with this p1 object, we can utilize this object to access different values that we have specified. For example, if I want to fetch the first name, I can write p1.first name. Let me hit enter, and it has returned James. In the same way, I can access age as well. So age is 27, and I can also access email. Email is this abc@gmail.com. Now, however, we have to note this thing that till now this data is not stored in the database. It is only there in this object. So if we want to add this data in our database, or we can say if we want to add this data in our profile table, we need to use one method. Now what is this method? The name of this method is save, and how we should use it. So we first need to specify the object, which is p1, then dot, and then the save method. And when we execute this thing, the data which is there in this p1 object will be stored in our profile table. Let me hit enter. Now with this, we have successfully stored data in our model. Now this save method, we can say, is equivalent to the insert statement in SQL. Now next, let's add some more data in it. So what I will do, I will specify one more object. Let me name this object as p2. Let me change its first name value from James to Chris. Let me change its last name as well from Evans. Let me change its age. Let me change its contact number as well, and I have also changed the email address. Hit enter. Now if I want to store this in my table, I have to write p2 dot save and hit enter. So in this way we have stored multiple object data in our model. Now what if we want to fetch all the complete list of elements from the profile model? In such cases we need to use the objects.all method. So how we can use that? So let me define a variable with name all data, and then we have to use the profile class. After profile class I have to specify objects because I want to access all the objects, and the method is all. Now if I hit enter and if I try to print the value of all underscore data, it will return the complete query set with multiple data. So here you can see it has returned one query set which consists of two objects. So this is the object ID. So it has returned the profile object with ID 4 and profile object with ID 5. Now here you can see in the query set we only have received this unhelpful data that makes it difficult to distinguish between the profile objects. Now I don't know which object consists which data. So to fix this, there is a very simple step where we need to include the str function in our profile class. So let's understand how we can do that. So basically this is our second topic, which is about adding model string representation. So by default there is no model string representation in Django. It will always return the Python object with the ID. So if we want to change this string representation to something meaningful, we need to use this step. So what I will do, I will open my project in the VS Code. So here you can see I have opened this models.py file in my home application, and here you can see we have created this model profile. Now what I have to do within this class, I have to define one function. So I will type def, then underscore underscore str underscore underscore. Now this str function takes self as an argument. Now I have to return something using this function. So what I will return, let me return the full name. So what I will do, I will concatenate the value of first name and last name. So for this I will type self dot first name. I will use the plus operator, sorry, to concatenate the stuff. In between I put a space, and after the plus operator I will write self dot last name. So after this implementation, we don't need to run the migrations because we haven't made any changes in our model. We have just changed the string representation for our individual Python object. So what I will do, I will come back to my command prompt, and again if I print the all data variable. Now what I have to do, I have to close this terminal once. Again let me reinitialize this shell. Now you all know that we have created, we can say, two records in our table. So there are two profile objects in our profile model. So what I will do, I will again import the profile class. So I will type from home.models import profile, and again I will specify this all data variable, and to fetch the value for all the profile objects I will use the objects.all function. And if I again print this time, here you can see instead of returning a profile object with a ID, it has returning the proper full name James Roger and Chris Evans. So in this way we have understand how we can make some basic data access, and we have also understand how we can add a string representation for our model. Now this string representation is quite useful because when we register our model in the admin site, then this name will be printed for representing each Python model. So we can easily differentiate which model consists of which data. And with this we have come to the end of this tutorial session. Thank you so much for watching this video. We will see you in the next one.